Hello, everyone. It's Donna Cravata, and we are here again with another Real 50 Over 50 interview. And this week it's Laura Clark. And Laura is very, very dear to me. We go way, way, way back, and we have actually met in person a whole bunch of times. So many of the people that I interview, I know for a long time, and we've never met in person. But let me tell you a little bit about Laura. Laura is a Purpose and Vision Alchemist, and she's the founder of the Wise Living Institute. She's passionate in supporting women to access their inner knowing and intuition. She's an international best-selling author, an engaging speaker, and compassionate mentor. She brings a down-to-earth practical approach to implementing spirituality through a variety of tools and practices. Laura guides women to reawaken their divine purpose, realign their energies, and activate their vision, accelerate manifestation, all to find inner strength and courage. Welcome, Laura. So
Hi.
happy to see you.
Well, so good to see you and hear you and be here with you and everyone. So good.
Yeah, this is my favorite time of the week. So let's start with something. Well, you know what? I want to start and talk about when we first met.
Mm.
We were in a big room of people, and we were there for a few days. And after, I don't know, a couple of running into each other back and forth over a period of a few days, you just started to ask me questions. And this was so early on in my reawakening of who I might be underneath the surface of the to-do lists and things like
Mm.
that. Um, I don't, you mentioned something to me about crying. You asked me, like, when was the last time I cried? And I was like, cry? I don't ever cry. And you were like, you have to learn how to cry. And I was like, no, I don't want to cry. And I
Oh my
totally
gosh.
dug my heels in. And you were like, oh, you'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. Oh, and I think you have cried a few times since then, and it feels so good, right?
I still don't
Oh,
want to cry.
crying is so cathartic, right? When when you're over a certain age, right? And I am now
Like
50
13?
plus. Hmm?
13?
Over
Like over the
13,
age of
yes,
13?
over a certain
Okay.
age, 13, right. But when you're over a certain age, you've learned to stuff down things to get through things, right? And unless you take the time to release that and really feel the feels, I mean, really feel the feels deep down and let yourself release them, it doesn't serve anyone, especially
Mm,
yourself. Right. So crying for me is very cathartic. There are often times when I haven't cried for a while that I will go sit and use my energetic wands and just go think about something that's really hard. Right. And it's not too hard to think about something that's really hard in the world right now. And
true.
just feel the feels of it and release it so that I can then use my energetic wands to raise my vibration back even higher than it was before, because vibration and energy is everything.
So what are energetic ones?
Oh, my energetic wands. Those are my tools to look at where my vibration is, how I'm feeling, and how I'm showing up, because sometimes they're the same and sometimes they're different. We
Mhm.
want them to be the same. We want our vibration, our energy to be that same thing as how we're showing up, because fake it till you make it doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work. It's too hard. It's out of alignment. It doesn't work. We want to be energetically aligned with who we are and put that out into the world, because that's when manifestation begins to happen and be accelerated. Whatever your dreams and your desires are come to you when you put yourself out in alignment with the energy that you're feeling. So my wands are my tools to lift my vibration higher so that I can then put myself out as joyfully as I perceive and believe that I am all the time.
Mm.
Mm.
And what else is in that toolbox?
Oh, there's so much in that toolbox, Donna. So I am a master soul coaching practitioner and trainer. And what that means is I have the ability to bring spiritual awakening tools to use in a way that my clients can hear their own wisdom, trust that it's true, and feel the courage to act upon them. So whether it's crystals or oracles readings, like I have a deck that's the Oracle of the Lake deck, and journaling, oracle journaling, and finding peace through vision boards and learning more about where your dark side. I can talk about dark side right now because shadow side, because it's when we're recording this and live right now, it's October. So everybody's kind of got that Halloween ghosty spirit, but we all have dark sides. There are blinders. There are things that we don't see. And I have the ability to bring that forward for my clients so they can say, oh, that's holding me back. I didn't even know that. Right? And they can release that and fill that void with something that brings them forward, where they're more motivated, where they're more inspired, where they've really figured out what their purpose of being here on the earth is, and weave that through all aspects of their life. Because as women, we can't separate ourselves. We cannot separate who we are from what we do in the world. That's a recipe for disaster. The recipe is all in energetic alignment for greater joy and passion.
And like, how does one do this?
One gets quiet,
Mm-hmm.
right? In this very noisy, crazy, wacky world that we live in, right? You go and you find peace and quiet. So I'm a big nature girl. I love to forest bathe and go out into nature, but you don't have to do that. Some people find simple quiet in a coffee shop, because the echo of the conversations and the comings and goings of the coffee shop allows them to be in their own space, so to speak. So you don't have to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro and have these big, huge retreats. And you go to these retreats, and I love retreats, but you go to them and you get this great big aha. Like, I needed to have my V8 aha. And then you walk in the door and everything's the same when you get home, right? And then you forgot about that big aha that you've had, and you don't do anything with it. So when you go to a retreat or forest bathe and you find that information, being able to tap into that aha for a period of time, so that what you've learned becomes you and you grow. Because we can't make a change. I can't approach a challenge in my life the way I was when I was a teenager, or the way I was when I wasn't married, or the way I was when I worked in the YMCA field, right? I have to meet a challenge where I am today. So you have to constantly be growing. So transformation doesn't come in a moment. It comes in the growth of that moment.
Yeah. And finding the space with your everyday life
Yeah.
to make room for this.
You have to make room for it. We all brush our teeth, right? And we forget that we brush our teeth, right? Brushing our teeth, combing our hair, putting on your shoes in the morning. That's all rote. You want some of this soul reflection to become rote in a period of time, whether you do it during the morning or right before you go to bed, or like I do, 3 or 4 times a day. Because if I take those 5 minutes to just sit and do some quick journaling, I'll get an aha that for the next hour of work, I actually am doing 3 hours of work, if that makes sense, right? Because I'm working in alignment with what I'm learning.
Yeah.
Right? So you're more productive. You're not working harder. You're working smarter, and you're working soulfully. And that is a magic place to be working from.
Okay. And so I know another thing that weighs heavily in the work that you do is recognizing signs from the universe.
Mm.
Can you share some of those?
Yeah. Signs from the universe are very important because they are our compass, right? When you know your truth, when you find your inner truth and you start working on it, the universe is going to give you signs that say, yes, go this direction, no, go this direction, stop, think about it, maybe take 2 steps backwards, or maybe do something completely different. And signs come in all different facets. They come as numbers, they come as words, they come as lyrics that might show up in your head, they come as nature, um, anything that you are perceiving when you go for a walk. Um, when I was in college, so when I was in college, I went to a university that was in New Hampshire, in the backwoods of New Hampshire. And there wasn't much to do on weekends, right? So if we got bored, um, a bunch of girls would get in a car and start driving, and we would take a twister spinner.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we hit a stop sign or a red light, we would spin the twister thing. And it would say straight, east, south, or west. Go forward, go right, go left,
Mm-hmm.
go backwards, right? And it was this beautiful game, and you never knew where you ended up. And I can tell you some crazy stories about where I ended up. And it was fun and it was joyful. And it was following the signs that
Mm-hmm.
were on this silly little game that we played as college kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I think of that nowadays when I'm going out and I'm either driving somewhere or I'm going for a walk or I'm just sitting in nature. I'm thinking about that now and I'm like, where's my compass? And I'll ask myself a very discerning question, and the universe always provides an answer.
Mm-hmm.
It always provides an answer if you're quiet. You know, whether it's a rainbow and the color of the rainbow, the red is more vibrant than the yellow, and all of these colors mean something different. But you might come back to your computer and you might see a web page that's all yellow, right? And you're like, yellow, yellow, follow it. Um, you might hear an owl when you're asking these questions, and the owl is hooting and saying, you know the answer. Sit still, it's coming. Or you might be sitting on a dock in New Hampshire and thinking about, oh, I'm on this dock. It's beautiful. It's a summer day. I have some work to do, but I think I'll just sit in the sun most of the day, right? Because I don't want to adult. I mean, how many times do we not want to adult in our life, right? And all of a sudden you see a beaver go by the dock, right? And it's going and it's got something in its mouth and it's going and it's working, and beavers work hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you could follow that sign and say, okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to work. The universe is saying, yes, it's a day to work. You will find that things happen on that particular day for you that are miracles,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, you could see that sign and say, yeah, fine.
Well, the baby's working, so I could take the day off.
Right, right. And then you go back to your computer and you check in at 2 or 3 o'clock and your email has blown up and you've got
Mm-hmm.
to put out fires, right? So these signs are beautiful. And that's an example that was true to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. I've ignored signs. And then I'm like, oh, the beaver knows. The universe was trying to tell me, right? So the universe gives you a way to step out of any resistance that you
Mm-hmm.
have to doing something and step into more resiliency.
I like that.
Hmm.
Um, are there any signs that are like, more common than others?
Sure, sure. Donna, let's see. Does the number 11 ring any bells with you? So the number 11 is a very common sign, and that's a master number, and it means that you're being supported and guided by the angels. So whenever you see an 11, it's powerful. It's like, okay, you don't have to be in a state of disbelief or fear or resistance. You can be cognizant of what you're doing and say, I've got this. I'm surrounded by support. And maybe it's a sign to go get more support from a particular person or um, colleague or something, right? Signs are important. Now, 1111 is a double master number, and that is profoundly, you are like, this is great. This is wonderful. Now, I have a coffee mug that is 1111. I have several coffee mugs that I love. And I'll just reach up and I'll grab one for the morning. And when I get the 1111 one, I'm like, I've got this. I'm surrounded by support. People respect me. They love me. They honor me. And really, isn't that what we all want? Is respect, honor, love, right? So when I get it, I'm like, yeah, it's good.
So now I have a weird number thing I'd love to ask you about.
Sure.
My son, Matthew, was
Mm.
due to be born on July 14th.
Mhm.
When he was a couple of years old, I was like cleaning out stuff, and I found a book that had a bookmark in it. The bookmark was the receipt from the drugstore where I bought the pregnancy test. And
Oh, wow.
the time I bought it was 7:14. And for over 20 years, every single day, I look at the clock at 7:14. It's either AM or PM. So what does that mean?
That, when you see a sign that is connected to you, it really means that you're on purpose,
Mhm.
right? So 714, as a mother that you're seeing all of the time, is that you're on purpose as a mom. I don't know any mother that hasn't doubted themselves in raising a child. I really don't. Like, did I do that right? Is
Hardest
is
job
the
in the
kid gonna
world.
be scarred forever? What psychiatrist's couch is he gonna land on?
Well, we had the therapy fund.
Right, 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 right. And and so when you see that, it should allay any of those fears and say, I'm a good parent, and whatever is going to transpire moving forward. Because, relationships are highs, they're lows.
Yeah,
We are bonded. We are bonded and we are connected. And in the end, it's going to be all good.
yeah,
You know,
that
I
feels
I
true.
see my birthday all the time. I see
Mhm,
923 all of the time. And for me, that is just a powerful reminder that I am meant to be here,
yeah,
that I was born on that day. I'm here right now at 923. I am meant to be doing what I am purposeful about and what I am passionate about. And it
mhm,
just gives me that instant inspiration, that instant shot of courage, and that instant ability to take action. A lot of people who will see all these signs and then go, I'm supported and I'm guided. And that's wonderful that they feel that. And then they sit back
mm.
and say the universe is going to do its thing and I'm fine.
Now you gotta be involved in that.
You gotta, it's a co-creation, right? It's a co-creation. Yes, you are supported, and yes, you are fine. And yes, the universe is going to do its thing for you. But if you're not taking the courageous action, then the universe is going to start pushing you this way when you're supposed to be going this way. And that's, taking the path less traveled. You'll learn a lot, but cosmic 2x4s can hurt. They can hurt hard. So why not take the action that you know you can do because the universe is supporting you and move forward without that cosmic 2x4?
Mm. So, what does wisdom mean to you? Because I think you're gonna have a different interpretation than most of the people that I interview.
Hmm. Wisdom is inner truth that only you have. Your truth is always different than everybody else's truth. Your wisdom is your own, and you have to trust it, and you have to learn, you have to become your truth's best friend. So you have very beautiful, strong conversations with one another so that you can clarify what the wisdom is telling you so that you can then live purposefully and passionately. Wisdom is not found in books. Wisdom is not found by Donna telling me, Donna, your strategies are spot on. I've worked with Donna. Her strategies are spot on. But I don't have to listen to her strategy. I have to put it through my own inner wisdom and say, yes, but I'm going to tweak it this much.
Yep.
Yes, I'm going to tweak it this much. Or, yeah, she's spot on. Let's go. Right? Because any information that we get has to be put through your own inner GPS, your own wisdom meter.
Yeah.
Because that's where your energy becomes aligned.
That's why you can't delegate this stuff.
You can't. You can't. You have to stay current. You have to stay relevant. And you have to stay in curiosity.
Yes.
Because curiosity is the generator for your wisdom, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When people ask me for checklists, I tell them, go learn how the pieces fit together.
Mm-hmm.
That's your checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you know how the pieces work together when you're putting this through you, you'll come up with your own solution.
Yeah.
You know, you're just putting in, like, you know, the best practices with what you create on your own.
Yeah. And everybody's bandwidth is different. You know, women of a certain age, over 13, have different responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
It's an age that is so beautiful because in many respects, we have less restriction and more freedom. But oftentimes that comes with more responsibility. And in that, we have to make sure that we are staying sane and staying true to ourselves and our purpose, and not letting what we did in our 20s, which was everybody shooting on you, go do this, go do that, and you did it and you didn't, and you kept following everybody else's lead. You have to sit into this place of self-leadership and self-responsibility, of meeting that with great intent on who you are and how you're going to weave your own energy and your own purpose through those responsibilities. When you do, you're in that alignment and great joy happens.
Yeah.
I'm in a period of time right now where I'm helping take care of my dad. He's 95. He fell in June. In June, he was completely independent, lived alone, drove, completely independent. And he now needs 24/7 support. I have to weave that. That's an additional responsibility that I am honored to take on, privileged to take on, because he's teaching me so much. It aligns with my purpose. And in that, I have to look at my other responsibilities and see what I'm willing to let go, put aside for a period of time, or say, this is non-negotiable, and I can still take care of my dad.
Yeah. And
Right?
when you need to make accommodations in your life for that, when you're 50 and beyond, I'll say, it's a different experience, because I had to do that when I was in my 30s, and it was incredibly hard. And my 40s, those 30s and 40s, and it was incredibly hard because I had a small person I was raising
Exactly.
by myself, and I didn't experience it the same way that you're experiencing it. To me, it was a burden.
Right. And that's where everybody's wisdom is unto themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And you put it through and you say, how can this how can I make lemonade out of the lemons of the burdens of this time in my life,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
what can I learn from it? So I tell people, you're either you should be, and that's a should, and I know I don't should on people, but you're either in a state of joy
Mhm.
or you're in a state of learning. Those two states, if you can say to yourself, this is a day of joy, and go out and be, that's wonderful. But maybe there are some things going on where you have to be learning,
Mhm.
right? And what can I learn from this day that's going to support me moving forward into joy? Being curious, right? Being curious about the signs that will come to me in a day of learning, right? And saying, oh, are you my answer over here? Wait a minute. Oh, here's a pretty dog picture. Are you my answer over here? Oh, you're not my answer. Oh, okay. Right. And just keep being curious, right? And never stop laughing,
Yeah.
because you have to laugh with yourself and with others. Never at others, never at yourself, but laugh with the universe.
Mhm.
When the universe gives you a cosmic 2x4, like, and they gave me one the other day. I can't remember what it was. Oh, I know. We have 3 cars, and 2 cars in September went out of, we got them inspected. Their inspection ran up. And I got a notice from the DMV just last week that the 3rd car was out of inspection. And I'm reading it and I'm like, you have just got to be kidding me. Because it went through the cracks. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And I looked up at the universe and I just started laughing. I'm like, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me? Fine, I'll take care of this. But you know what? You've got to be kidding me. Keep kidding me. I can do this, right? But I'm laughing with the universe at this little teeny tiny piece of paper,
Mhm.
right? And so, do I have time to go get my car inspected? Well, no. Will I make time? Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where you just start leveling up, adulting, being responsible, and finding the joy in it, and
Mhm.
being able to laugh. Because otherwise you're gonna cry, which is okay, because I think somewhere between then and now I've cried about it, right? Mhm.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. Yeah, so many things. All right, before we wrap up, um, talk about your work staycation.
Oh, I'm going
You've
on one
been
next week.
you've been doing this for years.
I love my work staycation. And when I tell people, they say, well, why don't you just build your life like that and always be in a state of it? And I said, I like my work. I like my work. So I don't mind working full time, whatever that looks like for everybody. But my work staycations, and their work playcations, are
Mhm.
when I have a family home up on a lake in New Hampshire, and it's beautiful and it's quiet and pristine, and we've had it for 51 years. We celebrated last year, and I get to go up and have my work playcations all
Mhm.
summer long. And what that means is I get to be in purpose. So I can go up and do some work and
Mhm.
connect with some of my clients, because I love my clients. I love their ahas. I love their growth. And I love supporting them when they have their tears. Right. I love my clients. So I don't want to separate from the work,
Mhm.
but I want to play.
Mhm.
I like playing. So I have certain things that I do all every day there. I swim. I play with my dogs. We go for boat rides, and then it's vacation too, right? So my vacation is taking care of this family legacy. So I get to take care of the home. I get to vacation there and honor it and support it. So work vacation it's an attitude. It's an attitude, and you can do it almost anywhere. You can do it at home. It's not so much I like doing them when I go off. Um, but I walked into my dad's house last week when I was going to be here for 2 or 3 days straight. And I looked at him, I said, are you ready for a work vacation? And he goes, what's that? What do you mean? I said, well, I have to do some work. You and I are going to play together and we're going to take care of the house a little bit.
Mhm.
And he looked at me and goes, how did you ever figure that out? What are you talking about? Like he thought I had two heads, right? But it's me. It's who I am and what I
Mhm.
love to do. Because again, when you know your purpose, and my purpose is to awaken wisdom. I can define my purpose in 5 words or less. My
Mm.
clients learn what their purpose is in 5 words or less by a unique process that we use. I awaken wisdom in all that I do. When I'm working with my dad, when I'm laughing with my dad, when I'm working with my clients, when I'm laughing with my clients, when I'm eating lunch, when I'm talking with a dear friend. Either they're awakening my wisdom to support everybody, or I'm supporting awakening wisdom. And that's elevating that vibration
Mhm.
that this world so
Yeah.
desperately needs right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
So you can find Laura at thewiselivinginstitute.com, and she's also on the Real 50 Over 50 webpage. And you can see her on social media and her work placation, sharing her mugs at the lake.
Mhm, mhm,
And she is just a delight to have in your life. So connect with
mm,
her.
thank you.
And I'd just like to end these with a wisdom bomb. Share something actionable and impactful.
Okay. You can either live your life in resistance or you can step into resilient joy. And resilient joy is being in integrity, living in integrity, adding your purpose and weaving that into everything that you do, and elevating your energy to do it.
Love it.
Resilient joy.
Love it. That's a perfect way to end this.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Thank
you for
you.
spending time today. And it's always a joy to see you.
Always with you too. And
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. We'll be back next week with more and a wisdom panel next week, also on building community and building something bigger than you. So we've got lots more to share, but please, everybody, connect with Laura. Here is her website, and we'll be back next week.